Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. So today we are going to be drawing this gorgeous little chickadee. I found this on Pixabay, which is a royalty-free reference site. So I'm going to start just by drawing his shape. Whoops, a daisy, and I touched the screen and he disappeared. Hang on, where'd me doodah go? Where's my mouse gone? What's going on here? Picture. There he is. Why? I've got to try and figure out how to make him stay in the image. There's got to be a way. Image split. No, I do that. Hang on. How do I do it? How do I stick my reference in? Tools, maybe? Nope. Filter. Select. There's got to be a reference in here. Layer. New. Nope. Where's my image view? Copy layer, paste to cursor, paste into new image, paste as reference image. Nope, that's not it. File. Oops. Import. Edit. Where's it gone? View. Image should be. Just having a quick read of how to do this. Hello, Playboy. How are you, doll? I am trying to figure out how to add my reference. I have gone, because I had it sitting on my screen, but it wasn't it wasn't queued in, so I'm not sure how to. I've forgotten how to do it. Settings, configure, manage resources, Dockers, channels, cosmic manage, all the things. Hello, Shannon. Oh my God. How are you, doll? How are you? I'm trying to figure out how to stick my bloody picture in, and I don't know how. New view, workspace. How do I do that? Ooh. Maybe I'll just leave my reference on the other screen because I'm not finding it. So there it is there, but if I touch my screen, it goes away. So that's really weird. So I've got to figure that out. I'll move it back up to my top screen, but that's the reference I'll be using. If I could figure out how to stick it on my screen, I would. So that's a reference I'm using. So I'll pop it up on my top screen. So how's everyone been? What's been happening? Oops, it is. How do I? Oops. Okay. So I'm going to start with a black. I'll go into my dark colours and I'm going to start with a black outline because I can. I'll go into my blues actually. Start with the dark outline. There we go, like that. Go to my dip pen, which I'm on. Been good. How have you been? It's been a while. It has. Oh my goodness, it's been forever. I've been good though. Lots has been happening. But all's well. We got through the end of it. So lots of family stuff, but all good now. So I get to sit back and draw and chill with you guys. So I'm going to start just by drawing the head. These little guys are literally just a little ball of fluff. How's everyone going anyway, Shannon? How's everyone? How's all me buds? I've got to make his head a bit higher. When I redo this video, I will add a reference so people can watch with the reference in the corner. I've been playing lots and lots of Animal Crossing on my Switch too. I've been playing all the games, which has been lovely because there's an update coming to Animal Crossing. So I'm very excited. So I've been upgrading my island. How's the farm? Oh, good. Good. We've still got 2 horses. We've got tons of kangaroos, tons of rabbits, and we've been overrun with bunnies, with wild bunnies, which they're very cute, but they're a pain in the bottom. We literally have thousands of them, the same as kangaroos, thousands of kangaroos, but we're growing lots of hay, so we've had enough rain to be able to grow a good season of hay. So I'll be able to cut hay this year, which will be nice. Because the last few years, we lost it last year, lost our hay. It got rained on and wrecked. Me and Ella finished our undergrad. Ella's finished our undergrad and I've finished my master's. Oh my goodness. Current studies master's. My goodness, look at you go. Wow. That's impressive. So, gosh, so have you found a placement, like somewhere to... Where's my pen gone? Is that my... Oh, there we go. Undo, Control Z. Oops, make it smaller. Have you been playing games at all? I actually caught up with Alice, I can't remember what day it was, months ago now. Popped into stream and we had a chat, which was really lovely. Because I miss you guys. I don't get to catch up with anyone much. I've been working with my kids. I'm in my kids' business and I'm a grandma now, so I'm babysitting a lot. Or not really babysitting a lot. I go and hang out with them a lot. I wouldn't say babysitting, just hang out with them and enjoy their company, which has been absolutely awesome. So I spend a couple of hours a day with my little grandson and just been doing crazy, getting prepared for Christmas. All the craziness that comes with life at this time of year. But I'm so excited to have a little grandbaby for Christmas. Because I get to spoil him rotten and buy all the things that he's not going to appreciate for at least another couple of years, but I'm going to have fun. So Santa's back. Not yet. I'm currently trying to find a lab job. Cool. I'm sure you will in not too great a while. I'm sure you will. Be so fascinating. Thank you. Yeah, he's a little muffin man. He's my little muffin man. So I'll pop his tail and his body are the same length. So tail's got to be a little bit longer. So from the neck to the base of the tail, I measure, and then the tail is the same length as that. Like that. And he's sitting on fruit. So he's sitting on berries. So I'll draw his little berries and I'm just going to erase this bit. This little line in his head. Put that back. Erase it. Put it back before by accident. Okay. And you can see his little claw. It's got his little, where's my pen? Where'd my pen go? Get off there. Yep. It's got a little claw, I can see just there. And another claw up there, and then the berries. So he's sitting on berries. It just shows you how tiny these little birds are. They're like our finches, I think. Because I'm just blown away how little he is compared to these berries. Which is really cool. There's a rotten one there, but I'm not going to worry about drawing a rotten one. I'm just going to draw them in like tiny little cherry tomatoes or something. I can't actually tell. Or maybe rose hips. But they look squishy, like a berry. So draw the roots, the bases of them in. Got their little stems, like that. Like that. And then come down and around here. And I'll just block in here that'll all just blend into the background. I'm just roughing in the shape. And it's Friday here, which is really exciting. I love Fridays. I absolutely adore Fridays. So now that's basically the background done. I'm not going to do a whole lot more than that. I'm going to keep it as simple as I can. Okay, that's it. That's pretty much. I'm just having a quick look at the shapes on the reference. I'll bring my reference back if I can. How did I get it down here last time? Oh. No, it's not going to do it. Oh, yeah. There we go. Nope. Oh, hang on. That was going to insert. Oh, hang on. How did I do that? Why is it not letting me now? Oh, for goodness sake, I keep moving my, it's not going to let me do it. How do is it going to let me do it up here? Hang on, edit. Can I put it, copy? It's not going to let me do it. I don't know why it won't let me do it, but that's okay. I'm going to head out anyway. Have a good stream. I'll hop in from time to time. No worries. Have a great day, Del. It was awesome to see you again. Say hi to everyone. It was lovely to see some of my old mates. Okay. So, okay, I'm going to go next layer. I'm going to go layer, press that one. And then I've got this in the next layer. So, and I'm going to just colour the eye. Go with black. I'm going to make my brush a little bit bigger. I'm going to grab that brush. I'm just going to colour in the eye completely black. And I'm going to put the little tiny white dot in the corner with my dip pen, like that. Or I can even erase and make it the pure white of the paper, like that. That puts that little sparkle in the eye. I'm going to make my picture a bit bigger. Whoops, that's not it. I'm an idiot. Oh no, now do I freaking. There we go. That way. There we go. Make the picture a bit bigger for you guys. Now, he's black on his head, but I'm actually going to use a really deep purple because it just makes it... Black is just flat. Got to have a bit of purple. Even in traditional art, I do the same thing. I will add a blue. I make my own dark colours in traditional arts, and I do it exactly the same in digital. So I'm using a purple, not a black. So if I was to print this on photo paper, it would show as a deep dark purple. It's got a bit more energy to it, a bit more life to it. Makes pictures more interesting. I always suggest if you're doing painting, make your own colours. Like in watercolour or in any colour, a blue and brown would make a black. So I usually use burnt umber and cobalt blue to mix my own blacks, my own darks. I never use a shop bought black. So I highly recommend learning to mix your own colours. It is really handy. And you get much more life in your artwork. Tends to not look flat. So that's one of the things I learnt that has been a valuable lesson, is to absolutely mix your own colours if you can. And even, this way I do it still. I don't use a flat black. I'll use a purple, a deep purple. And then I'm just going to fill in, block in this. And I'll go over this with blues and things as well, because you can. I'm just blocking in most of it. Then I'll make my pen a bit smaller. And fuzz up his feathers on the outside, like that. I'm going to come down. And just do up the edges. I can delete the underdrawing at the end. If I was doing it traditionally, I'd erase it. Erase the pencil lines at the very end. Okay. Now around his eye is completely black. I'm just going to go in a bit closer to the edge of his iris, like that. His eye does go down a bit further there, like that. His beak is dark, but it's not black. It's a grey. It's got grey that comes around here. I can soften edges as I go. Now I'm going to get a purpley grey. I might have to go back into the blues a bit. Where's a grey? There's a nice grey. Maybe a bit darker. There we go. Make my pen a bit bigger. I'm just going to block in. I'll just block in the base colours first. Then I add the finer detail on top. I just get the base colours roughly how I want them. And then I add the detail. So if I was doing a traditional painting, I would do a washes of the colours, the base colours, and then I would add the detail with a fine brush over the top. So I do it exactly the same technique as if I was doing it traditionally. I just don't have the mess, which is nice. And I tend to do 3 layers. I'll do the drawing layer, the painting, the base layer, which is the mixture of all the like the colours, the base colours, and then the detail layer. So I tend to only work in 3 layers. I'm actually gonna, his tail's the same colour as his top of his neck. So I come down here and I've left my glove in the kitchen, drawing gloves, so I've got my bare hand on the screen, which is weird. Feels strange because I usually have a glove to stop me touching the screen. But it's okay, I don't have any jewelry on, so I'm not going to scratch it. And I'm using a huion tablet. Love my huion tablet. I've probably been drawing digital art for about a year. I was completely pure traditional before that. Okay, now he's got a light brown on his body. And you can colour pick if you've got the photo reference up. I've got to figure out how to do that. That'll be next stream. I'll figure out how to add my reference. I know you can do it. I did it last time somehow. I just don't know how. I fluked it. Okay, come down here. Got to just add rough around bot. It's a bit of a better angle. Come around the berry. There and around that berry. Up here. And then I can colour fill. As long as all my lines join up, I should be safe. So then I'll just do that, connect my lines together, and then go press on the bucket. It should fill like that. So I go to the left and press on my paint bucket, and woohoo! It all goes in there for me, which is always a good thing. So this is just a rough sort of fill in. I'm going to go back to my greys now. I'm going to do a light grey on his beak. And his beak is multiple colours. It's dark greys and blacks and all kinds of fun stuff. But the base layer, I'm just doing a base grey. I'll add the detail at the end. Keep it simple. Don't make it harder than it needs to be. Now he's got a bit of light grey coming down on his chest as well, but it's much lighter than this. But for now, I'm just going to put this grey. I'm going to blend. Where's my blendy doodah? Oh, it's over here. If I go to here, I've got all my favourites here. I stick to a couple of brushes generally. It's got a little blending tool. I'm just going to blend out some of these little lines just to soften the edges a bit. Just so it doesn't look so hard and bleh. Just soften the edges into each other, and I'll add the detail at the end. Okay, come up here, soften these edges. I literally am just running around and just softening everything, just the edges. If I was to do this in watercolour, I'd just use your damp brush and just run around the edges and soften everything. Okay, and I like to equate it back to traditional art because I do have a lot of traditional art friends. You'll probably not try digital, but if I break it down, it also teaches, I can help people who want to learn traditional because it's the same techniques, just a slightly different medium. Okay, I'm happy enough with that. I'm going to get rid of, oh, I've got to go back to the other layer. Hang on, I've got to get rid of, this line. Oh, I've got to erase. That's erase. Okay, that's erase there. Why is it still blending? Hang on. Go to that. Oh, that's not it. I want to go erase. Erase. There we go. Now I'll go over, make that a bit bigger and just get rid of these outside lines. Like that. I can tidy anything up that I want. The outside drawing. Or the under drawing rather. Okay. Now let's have a look. So his head has got white. So I'm going to go back into I'm going to go to my yellows, go right down to that bottom left-hand corner get as light as I can get. I'm going to stick with this. I'm on the right. No, I've got to go back to that layer. Fill in. It's not quite pure white. It's sort of like an off-white. I will do a green background. That'll help. I'll give him contrast. So just fill that in. He's got a little bit of grey on his wing. Actually, I've got to go. It's a darker grey. And my previous colours are popped up. See, there's colours down below my circle, my colour wheel. There's a line of them. That's the colours that I've already used. So I can always go back to pick up a colour that I've used, or I can also colour pick off the painting itself. So, which is this little tool here. It's a little eyedropper. I can tap on it and that will find me the colour that I've been using. But I don't need to do that at the second. I'm just going to go back to my dark. And I'm going to just fill in these feathers, leave a little gap between. What have I done here? Why is that on? What's going on? There we go. I'm still getting used to layers. I'm not very good at layers. That's why I only use minimal layers if I can help it, because I get very confused. I use 3 layers maximum in any artwork. Keep it as simple and as fuss-free as I possibly can. Come down and around. He does have lighter feathers on his back. For next stream, I'll figure out how to stick in my reference. Okay, so he's got a light bluey grey. Go back to this grey. And I'll pop that in here. Then I'll blend it and add the detail over the top. So I'll grab my little blendy tool, which is a little cotton bud. You guys in America in England call them Q-tips. We call them cotton buds. Soften up all of this. So I'm just running over the top of it with the blender, just to soften everything up. Like that. Okay. Now I'm going to make it a fraction smaller. Drag it up a bit. There we go. And I'm going to fill in the red of the berries. So now I'm going to go to my reds. That is a very vibrant red, but it is a vibrant red. So I'm going to now get that brush and I'm going to draw around the outside. It doesn't have to be detail at the start. Oops, like that. Doesn't even have to be perfectly round because they're not. Nature is not perfect. Just going to cut around like that. And I'm just going to bucket. So press on my little paint bucket tool and fill that in. Go back to my brush and the next one. Cut around the bottom of the bird, around his toe. I can hand fill in that one. And then like that, get the bucket and tap and it fills it in. So you're not having to fill in every individual thing, every individual berry. And it's fine because I will go over the top with detail and soften everything and make it all look a bit less flat. Around the edges like that. Get my bucket like that. Go back to my brush. I'm only going to do a handful of berries. Don't need to do too many because they're not the focus of the picture, the bird is. So keep it simple. You don't even have to do, I could have just put a branch in if I had wanted. Oh, that filled right in, doesn't matter, don't mind. Okay. So go back to my brush. So I'm going to leave that like that for the second. I'm going to get my blendy brush, which is my little cotton bud there. I'm going to run around the edges because there's a teeniest little gap. When it buckets in the paint, there's a teeny little edge. It leaves a little lip right around the edge of the picture. So I'll just blend that so it disappears into the colour. softens it all. I mean, I'm going to add highlights and things and darks and shadows and all the fun stuff. So they're going to disappear anyway, but just helps a little bit. There we go. So that'll do for the second. So now I'm going to go to start on the detail. So I'm going to go back to my dark and I'm going to add a little bit of a lighter grey. Get my dip pen and make it really fine. I'm going to go up here and I'm going to add on his head. It's got little flecks of light, you can see. Little light feathers on his head. So I'll add those in. I think I've got to make his head a little bit rounder. I'm going to make him a little bit bigger too so you can see him a bit better. Like that. So go up on top of his head. Actually, you know what? I might even do his background now. So what I'll do, because I haven't figured out how to add the layer and pull it over the top. So I'm just going to draw the background in, actually. I'm going to do it a green, light green. Make him smaller. Grab my doodah like that. Oops, bring it down a fraction. And I'm going to just draw around the outside of him. I'll grab that pen. I'm going to do it a light green, so I'll go to that sort of a green. Pick a light, naturally sort of soft green. And I'm just going to draw around the outside of him a solid line coming right in close to him. You'll see what happens when I hit the bucket at the end of this. It'll literally fill in the background for me. I can always go in and change the shape of his head. Excuse me for touching the microphone. It got very close to, and I did it again, very close to my pen. So I come down and around. There is another way of doing this. I just haven't figured it out yet. I'm still very much learning. Okay, so come down. Because I've been a traditional artist all my life. Since I was a kid, I've drawn. But digital, a year or so. Not long at all in the scheme of things. So I'm very much still learning. And I need to sit down and watch videos on how to, but I haven't. So yeah, so if you want to learn how to just have fun with it and not worry so much about so it just shows you can do digital art without knowing everything. You don't have to know all the things to be able to do digital art. I was scared of it for a long while because I thought, I don't know how to do anything and I don't know how to do layers, but you don't need to know. You can just do simple drawing, traditional style, without any of the fuss of worrying about all the technicalities of everything. Draw a stem coming down there as well. Okay. As long as the lines connect, it'll fill in with that background colour. But try not to miss anywhere. It's very close to the colour of his body. I'm just going to leave a little gap around his bottom so I can see that gap. Come down his tail, up his back, then join up with that line that I drew before. Like that, and then grab my bucket and touch out there. And it didn't work. Grab my bucket and touch. There we go. And my background is filled. That's how easy that can be. And now I've just got to do that here. Oh, grab my bucket again and fill in the other bits that I missed. Just tap it and it will fill in just nicely, just like that. That's fine. Oops. I'll just Control Z that one bit. Control Z. There we go. Okay, so now I go back to my normal brush and I can go around the edges and tidy that up. Go back, I'll stay with that brush and I'll just go around the edge, get rid of that tiny little hairline that's around the edge. I'm going to soften the background as well. I just needed the contrast against the white feathers. Come in a bit closer to his little bottom now. Okay. Just got to work around that edge. I'll add highlights and things and tidy this right up. Or just for the second, I'll get these little edges sorted. I'm literally just drawing over them where the bucket missed edges. It gives you a teeniest little gap beside the actual picture. That'll do anyway. Go around his beak a little bit. I've got to change his beak a fraction. And I keep pressing the buttons on my pen. I had to turn off all my, because the pen does all sorts of things, but I keep pressing the buttons on it. So I've turned all the things on. So basically this pen is just a pen. It doesn't have any of the special tools that you can add to it. A click of a button, because I'm a simple girl who likes simple techniques. Keep it simple. As they say, KISS. Keep it simple, stupid. So I am. Okay. Now I'm going to add brown, a light brown. Oh, that's not light brown. That's a light brown. I'm going to add this light brown to his little leaves and his stems, because they're light brown. Like I said, it's just a block colour. I'll add the darks and the lights. I'm just filling in the block of the solid colour to give me just a base of the start of the, whoops, what am I doing? That's a bit rough, isn't it? But stems aren't smooth, they are rough. So come down here. I'm just going to block all of these in like that. Fill it up like that. Fill that in, leaving little rough bajaggedy bits like that. Come down and around, fill this in. Oops. Okay. It's all just shapes, so you don't need to be worried about it. It's just shapes. Doesn't have to be exact. It's definitely not exact. I don't do exact. I'm not a photorealist. I do as close as I can, but I would not say I'm a photorealist. I would love to be one day. All right, so I'm just going to fill these in. I can actually do the bucket for these as well, which I might do. Just this one. Like that. Get the bucket. Fill that in. Fill that in. There we go. Doesn't have to be exact, just roughly. I'll just block that in there, like that. Okay, that'll do. That'll do for now. Okay. So I might even start with the berries just for now, because there's so many variants of colours. So I'll just pick out that red that I used, and I'm going to go for a darker tone. I'm going to grab an airbrush. I've got an airbrush up here, a soft airbrush. Make it a bit smaller. And I'm going to just go around, a bit smaller than that maybe. Go around the edges of this red, shadow areas of each of the berries, and just define them a little bit. It's following the shape, and only do the outside edge, then I'm going to blend it. So grab my blending tool and just blend that softly. Oops, make the blending tool a bit bigger. Just to get a little bit of each of the berries defined a little bit, so you can see the shapes of them a little bit more. Go back to my blending, my airbrush. And you can see that's quite a soft brush, but it gives me nice shadow. See, the shadows would be touching here. Again, remembering to follow the shape of the berry. That one's got shadow under there. This one's shadow. I've sort of ad-libbed with the berries. I used the reference as a rough guide, but I didn't follow it exactly. So I'm sort of making this up a bit, the shadows. But just got to remember the shadows are underneath. They're underneath and anywhere that will be shaded. So you just imagine what would be shaded. Underneath the bird is shade. That one's sticking out. This one's shaded here because it's under the bird. So I'll darken up there and under the foot. That one's got a lot of shadow. There's only a little bit of light on that one. And then this one. Shadow comes down here and up around the outside edge like that. I will add darker. I'm just for now just blocking in so you've got the shapes, the basic shapes of the berries. Under there, that one's in shadow. Again, following the shape of the berries. It's almost full shadow under here because it's touching the other berries. That's all in shadow under here. Like that. That one comes down there like that. Okay, now I'm going to get my blending tool and I'm just going to soften all of that up so you lose the pen marks. And if I was doing this with watercolour, I'd just do it in a wash, like I'd wet the paper and drop the paint in and it would flow where I wanted it to do, where I wanted it to flow. And in marker I would, because I'd love to draw with pen as well. So I would do it, I'd do the darker in, draw it in layers. Okay, I'm quite happy with that for the second. So now I'm going to grab a highlight light, go back to my airbrush, and I'm going to add just highlights. Nope, I need to go back to my strong pen. Actually, I might go to a watercolour brush, like that. Get highlights. You can see there's a highlight on this one. Like that. There's a dent in that berry. Like that. There's a little highlight there on that one. Highlight there around the top of that one's quite light. Like that. And this one, okay, and you can see that gives, that one actually, you can actually see a little bit of light, and you just follow the shapes of the berry. Okay, that'll do for the second. I'm going to go back to the bird. So I'm going to go onto his little beak. I'm going to go into the dark greys. I'm going to grab my little watercolour brush. I'm going to make it really small. And I'm going to extend his beak out now because I made his beak a little bit smaller than I should. You can see the line comes across there. Then the bottom of his beak is almost all dark. I'll just fill that in for the first layer. Grab my little blender, blend it a little bit just to soften the edges. Okay, and then go back to my dip pen, and I'm going to go in with a really dark and make that, define that dark more underneath. Like that. I'm going to add a little highlight. So I work my way around and just add details as I go. I might make that a fraction bigger so you can see it a bit better. That's the other way. Now I'm going to go around his iris, pick his eye back out again. Like that. He's got a little light feather. I'm just looking. Now I can start to add the little light bits. He's got little light feathers on the top of his head. I can go in with a really dark navy blue also to add, Going to soften up around the edges. His head. Okay. Add little tiny flecks for his feathers around his eyes. I'm going to go in with a deep blue. Go into the deep blues. And I'm going to add a little bit of blue onto his feathers as well. Just a deep navy. Just to get a bit of interest in the darks. I just noticed that dark. Actually, I'm going to go to that really dark purple almost. And add that back around the edge of his beak. I just noticed he's got feathers that come to the edge of his beak. And these feathers are softer around the edge of his eye. So I'll fuzzy those up a bit. Because their feathers aren't smooth. They have little rough bits. So I'll pop those little rough bits in. Feathers come down the back of his head. You can see the dark line down the back of his head. Like that. Okie doke. I can darken up these ones on his neck here. You can see the deep dark purple. This has given it an even darker tone onto the dark. Okay, having a quick look. I've got to go into the greys because I can see he's got some really fine grey. Make it a bit bigger than that. In his feathers on his white. He does have some grey. I'm going to make it a lighter grey. This is where you start to find, you look at little details. Just remember to go the directions of the feathers, the way the feathers lay. He's actually got quite a solid line of feathers that come down here on the side of his cheek. They're quite dark there. I'm going to make them a little bit more blue, purpley blue. Excuse me, Beb, my little dog. Excuse my dog. You noisy little dude. Okay, I'm going to add a little bit of that light onto his beak as well. Like that. Okay, looking all right, looking all right. Now I can work on his chest feathers. So I'm going to come down here because he's got some lighter feathers over the top. And you can see how that base colour holds everything together. And you just add your finer detail over the top. And it doesn't take much. It does not take much at all. I'm also going to do this onto his back, onto his feathers on his back. So I can see the lines of his feathers on this grey. Just draw them in softly, remembering to go the direction of the feathers. You start to add those in. They're all sort of turned downward a little. I'll add some darker ones in as well. I'm just going to roughly pop those in because he's got lots and lots of fine little feather lines. These ones sort of turn around. Might have a rainy day today. I'm just looking out the window and thought, oh, it started off sunny this morning and now it's getting grey. We're coming into summer here, which is lovely. Mind you, I am a winter person, I do have to say. Okay, so now I'm going to go back into the dark darks, the purples. I'm going to add, so I can see some darks through there as well. Okay, now there's some feathers here. I'm just going to draw them in darker lines like that. Grab my light colour again. Let's go around the edges of those ones. Just having a quick look. I've got to actually bring those greys into down here as well. Then he's got feather pattern there, feather pattern there, feather pattern there, feather pattern there. So you don't have to be exact, you can just suggest. It doesn't have to be. You can see it's, what I'm doing is pretty much scribble. I'm going to follow up here, just literally doing a zigzag cross, like just hatching up the line where the feather is. I can see a feather there. So I literally just squiggle all the way up there and join that in there. Then I go to the next feather, leave a little gap and do exactly the same thing to the next feather. Then connect it up like that. He's got about 4 of these. I take it right to the bottom of his wing there. And another one, leaving a little gap so you can see that under grey through like that. And then I go pick the next line and come up in a soft line almost to the top, not as thick. Then I do little highlight lines, but you don't want them perfectly straight because they're not really straight in real life. They're a little bit jaggedy, and I do that all the way up his wing. Fill in that bit there. I can see he's got a little highlight up here. It's got a feather there, you can see. Okay, now on his tail, same thing. You can see he's got the jaggedy line. Comes down there, where one of his feathers sits on top of another and the light's hitting it. It comes right up under his wing. There's one there, and the bottom is in shadow, so I'll do the darkest darks and the lightest lights right at the very end. For now, I'm just adding in a little bit of detail. I can actually see a bit of this line where I paint dropped. I missed a bit of the drawing, so I've got to do that. Fill that in like that. Around the edge of the berry, anywhere that I can see that I've missed, I'll just blend it a little bit. Okay, he's looking all right. We're looking all right. We're getting there, peeps. Okay, so now I'm going to go onto his tummy. I'm going to grab the brown. I'm going to get a slightly darker brown. And I'm going to get my correct brush would be good. I'll go to my dip pen. And I'm going to add now some of these feathers under his tummy. Because he's got, actually I might even use the watercolour brush for this because it's a bit softer, a bit less harsh. I come right down on his tummy, make it a fraction bigger. And I can fill in a bit faster and still add some finer detail over the top. Come right down to the berries because he's in shadow near the berries. And you can see this brush acts like a proper watercolour brush. It's got a nice soft feathery edge. Come right under his tail. He's much darker under there. He's much darker under his wing. Okay. I'll add some finer detail and some mixture of different colour feathers. Around here, fill this in like that. Okay, quite happy with that. Now I've got to add a bit of light back in to his chest because he's got little white feathers I can see on his tummy. Make it a bit smaller maybe. He's got some white feathers on his tum. browns down here on the nape of his neck. Not the nape, it's his what do they call that? His décolletage. So birds don't have a décolletage, but it's a necky bit. On his necky bit, he's got the light. Okay, having a quick look. He's actually also got light on his bot. Not quite sure how or why, but he does. He's got little white feathers, little white downy feathers on his bot. So we'll draw those on, because why not? Come down under here. Got to add some more. I'm going to go into the browns again, and I'm going to go to my dip pen, keep it little, and add some darker darks down here on his tongue. He's got darker shadows under here. I could even do like a wash at the end. You can see, and then you can still see the pen marks, but do like a semi-opaque layer, or not a layer, but just go over the top of it. Not really a layer as such, because I don't know how to do them properly. Okay. Just darken up around here. I've just got to let my little dog out. Just bear with me a second. I've just got to pop him out. You want to go out there, Bear? All right. Come on. Good job. Okay. All good. And his glove. So I'll pop that on now. It's good. Okay. Let my little dog go out. So the world is happy. And what colour have I got? Got me dark brown, so I've got a dark brown up here. Got little baby birds outside my window that are so cute. You can hear them squawking. They're going, "Dur, dur, dur," asking their mum to feed them. I do love the baby birds. They're gorgeous. Okay, I'm going to make that brush a bit bigger. I've got my watercolory kind of brush. I'm just going to come up under his tail. Get some dark on there. I'm going to make the opacity half, or less, a little bit less than half, so you can still see the pen strokes underneath, but it just blocks in some of the shadow area. Just a bit, block it in a bit more for me. Just make it a bit more simple. Got to blend it now, so I'll go to my blending tool. Just blend it a fraction. Just around the edges, just get rid of some of the brush marks. Like that. I can see that's actually gone around. He's darker. I'm just looking at blocks of shapes. He's darker there, all the way around there. So I'll just go back to my blending tool. You can see I'm very rough. I'm very, I don't fuss with the detail terribly. I keep it as simple as possible to make it the most amount of fun, less stressful, much less stressful. So I'm going to go to that sort of middly colour brown. I've got my dip pen. I actually have to go to strong brown like that, and add feathery details. Why is that not? There we go. Add some feathery details. It's got a very dark patch here. I'm just going to draw the feathers in. I can almost go darker, but I'll focus on this for the second. Like that. Okay, having a quick look. He is very dark just here. I'm going to go to a middle tone grey. I'm just going to add these shadows, the feathers, marks over the top. Come right into the berry, like that. Like that. Okay, having a quick look. It's much darker up here. super dark under his bot right there. Tail, his bottom feathers. Comes right up to there. Okay, having a quick look. I'm going to go to a middle, sort of a greyish browny gold colour. I'm going to add some of that onto his tummy as well. Have I got another? I should have like a fairy brush. That'll do. Ooh, that's too big. I'm just going to add just some softer feathers. That's just a slightly softer brush. Just to get some of this texture all over his belly in a few different tones of brown. I've got to let my little dog back in. Just bear with me a second. I'm just going to go get him again. Come on, baby. Come on. Come on, baby. He insists on being with me wherever I go at all times. He's the cutest little muffin, my little bear. Okay. Okay, now add some light. Go back in with this softer brush. Pop some light back. Got some more in here. See a few little flecks here and there, like that. And that's given him a bit of dimension. Now, I've got to go back onto his wings. I've got to add some more dark. I'll go into the deep dark purple, just around here, around his neck. Blend that down. I'm going to add a few of these little, I'm going to drop the opacity and I'm going to make my brush bigger. I'm going to just darken up. And you can still see the underlying brush marks. It just makes it not so one colour. Because he's not just one light grey, he's all different greys. So I've just made that less opaque. So if it was watercolour, it would be just a watery wash. I'm also going to take it over his wings here so you can still see most of the highlights, but they get lighter towards the back at the end, like that. I'm going to go super dark under his wings now because he's got a very dark shadow under his wings. Super dark. Like that. Into there. I'm going to blend it a fraction just to soften the edges of it. It's a shadow, it's a dark shadow, but just keep it very dark around under his wing. Now, I've got to take that same dark, use my watercolour brush though, underneath his tail. The opacity right up, so it's full strength. And I'm going to just darken up where I can see the darkest darks under his tail feather. Like that. I can see that he's got a bit of his wing comes up here as well. Actually, I'm going to go into the super dark there. That's not it. So I'm going to go colour drop. I need to colour drop to pick the right dark. That one. Here we go. And then, because feathers aren't flat, there's jaggedy bits. So I've got to soften up his feathery lines. And I'm going to go to a darker grey. I'll colour drop. Pick my little colour dropper. Do that. That gets me that grey. And then I go into the darker. So it's, whoops, go back to my pen. Oops, that's not my pen. Why's it gone? Oh, I've got to press that one. No. Brush. There we go. Go into the darker. Make my brush a fraction bigger. I need to make it darker again. So darken up the top of the feather a little bit. Like that. Okay, got to come across the top of his back Darken that a fraction. Not solid line of dark, but add a little bit because this keeps it interesting. I'm going to drop the opacity and bring that grey down here onto his tummy. Like that, and take it down his tum. And then come down around here. Got to be a bit stronger with the shadows under his tummy. So I'm just adding that grey just to help to darken up the shadows under his tummy. Oh, thank you, Playboy. Thank you, mate. Come down and just blend all this out. When you think you've gone shadow enough, you've got to go stronger. Always go a little bit stronger. One of my artist friends always told me that. When you think you've gone dark enough, go darker in your shadows. Contrast is your friend when it comes to shadows. All right. Darken up all this. Okay, now I'm going to blend it a little bit. Grab my blending tool. Just softly blend the edges. I might have to add some of the detail back in. I've lost a little bit, so I'm going to go to dark brown almost. That's sort of purpley. Go to a dark brown. Grab my dip. Oh, actually, I'll use that brush. It's like a rough paintbrush. Actually, no, I don't like that one. I'll just go back to my that one. It's a softer brush. It's less bejaggedy. And add some rough feathers down the bottom of his tum. Get some of those lines back. Any shadow areas. Like that. Go around those edges. I've got to add his little claws in. His tiny little claws, and I've got to work on the berries and the branches. All right. See I'm just looking at the shapes of the shadows on him now, and where I can see that he needs a little bit of zing, a little bit of lift. Okay, down there. Okay, so now I'm just going to add a line down his tail. Actually, I'll go into the dark for that. Add a line down his tail, like that. Okay, I'm happy with that. Now I'm going to go back to my dip pen, full opacity, and I'm going to go the blue-grey, and I'm going to draw his toe in. So you can see his little talon coming around the edge of this berry here, like that. There's another one up here. Just going to draw that in and fill it in. Do his little claws are black, so we'll go to the dark. It's a deep purple. And I'll just pop his little claw like that, and I'll pop a little talon on that one. Whoops. Little talon on that one, like that. And then I'll add little highlights for the crinkles on his toes. I might go a pure white, a very bright white, just for the top. Just add a little bit of a reflection. All right, now berries. So actually I'm going to add a little bit more white feather around his beak. Blend a few of these little white feathers in on his face, like that. Okay. Rough up this outside edge. Okay, so now I'm going to grab my hard pen. I'm going to make some super highlights. There's a bright light highlight around the edge of this one. Having a look at the brightest whites. So I'm leaving the soft sort of shadowy ones, the muted highlights. Okay, now I'm going to get a darker red. So I'm going to go back to the eyedropper of this red. And then I'm going to go on the colour wheel and go into the darks. And I'm going to get my watercolour brush and I'm going to darken. Why is that not? Oh, colour drop that. Then go back to my colour wheel, darken it. Go back to my brush because I always forget to go back to my brush. Make my brush a bit bigger. And add, now I'm going to add dark shadows following the shape of the berries. Like that. Come around here. That. I'm going to blend it just to soften the shadows, blending the direction of the berry like that. You see it's starting to come together. Back to my watercolour brush, do the same thing on each berry. That one's almost all dark in that little gap. And I'll blend it. Like that. And then just work my way around the berries. Work my way around the berries, like that. It's all dark down there. Around here. Like that, and I'll blend it. Take it all the way around, like that. Okay, then go back to my watercolour brush, darken all the way around there. I've got to make this a bit smaller so I can see all the berries better. There we go. Like that. Blend it. Whoops, get my blending tool. There it is. Soften that up. And I'm going to have to go super duper dark in the middle. Having a quick look. So this is dark down here. That one's almost pure dark. Add that dark in there as well. There won't be a gap. Down and around. Like that. I can add the branches over the top, so that's not an issue. At the very end. Blend all of that in. Now, I'm going to go and add some really, really, really dark. So I'm going to grab, excuse me, I'm a bit snuffly, I'm a bit hay fevery today. A little bit of hay fever. I'm going to go into the super darks. So this is a base red dark, like it's I've used the red as the base. Got to make this a bit bigger here. Fill this in. This darkest shadow. A bit smaller maybe. Like that. You see how it gives us a beautiful contrast. Beautiful contrast amongst all the berries. Like that. I'm just going to fill this bit in. Like that. It's right in at the very base. Like that. Just helps to give them that little bit of extra contrast. Like that. You can see how that makes it pop just nicely. I'll blend that bottom one out a bit. Like that. I was having a quick look. It's dark in there. I'm just going to blend. Get my blending tool. And just soften that up. Make my brush a bit smaller. A bit bigger. I'll get there. I'll figure it out. It's going to soften as it goes up onto the berry. I want to leave some hard lines, just not completely. I'm going to soften some of it. There we go. Okay, I'm quite happy with that. Now I'm going to do the greens of the branches. So I'm going to go into the greens. And that's actually a pretty good green. That's a dark heritagey green. So I'm going to go to my getting the rough shapes in and fill it in, and then I will add detail with a dip pen tool and 100% opacity at the end. So I'll just go over those lines that I've already done in the light brown. See, it's starting to come together. Just add a few little stemmy bits. Then I've got to take them down the way to the bottom, like that, because there's little stems and branches going in all directions. Come around that one. And then just follow that down, and then I will add the fine detail. I'm being very loose with my colouring. It's there. Now, and in the wild, nothing is perfect. It is light, dark, all the different things. So now I'm going to go my dip pen, go full opacity, make it a fraction bigger, and I might go a bit darker green, a bit stronger. Make my pen a bit bigger, and I'm going to add a dark line to the underside that would be in shadow. Anywhere that would be in shadow, I'm adding the darkest green. Just taking it down the bottom line of the stem, like that. That one's pretty much all in shadow. It's shadow there and underneath, like that. And you see it starts to pop. Then come all the way down there, down under there. Down the bottom there, that stem. Okay, I'm quite happy with that. I'm having a quick look. The berries are pretty good. I'm not unhappy with them. I'm not going to do a whole lot more to them, I don't think. I'm just going to blend that little bit just here on the stem. I'm going to add some lights to the stems as well now. So I'm going to go back to my light greens, grab a light green, and I'm going to add highlight to the outside of some of these little stems, like that. Having a quick look, I'm quite happy with that. And now I've got to fiddle with the background a bit more. So I'm going to add a darker green. So I'm going to colour drop this green, go back to my brush, and then I'm going to get a darker green. I'm going to get my airbrush, a soft airbrush, make it quite large. And I'm going to add some soft shadowing just to make that background not a flat green. I can add a few different colours around because there'll be branches and things and stuff. Just add some greens just so it's not a flat background. We don't want a flat background. Okay, now grab my blending tool and make it huge and blend the edges of those spots that I've just popped in, just so it doesn't, you can't see the brush marks. It's, Control Z. I just blended me berry. Oh, no, that's not it. Oh, shit. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. There we go. I pressed a button. Okay, we're good. Just going to blend. That was a panic attack. Okay, Control Z. There we go. And I'm just going to try, be a bit more careful. You can do it with a different layer, but I tend to just keep my layers so basic. I've got 3 layers, a drawing layer, a middle layer, and the detail layer. That's all I do. Blend these out and make it a bit bigger. Soften the background colours. That's better. Just soften those. I can always retouch the edges of the berries if I mess one up. It's not an issue. So now I'm going to add dark. Go into my dark green and airbrush. Like that. Make it a bit smaller, bring up the opacity. Ooh, that's no good. Yucky. Let's not do that. Let's go to my big airbrush. Like that. I'm going to take it right in to the edge of this berry here. I want the most contrast sort of there. Come up around the bird and I can blend it now. Get my blending tool. Oop, maybe make it a bit smaller. I keep forgetting to swap the sizes of the brush when I swap brushes. Okay. Blend that out to soften those edges. Just do the swirling motion. Come out and around. Okay. Bit of a light green as well, like a citrusy green, so we're going to do that as well. Go back into sort of the yellowy greens, go airbrush, like that. Make it a bit bigger. Because there's all the greens, and it just keeps it interesting. Keeps it all nice and lovely and interesting. Because you can... all the background of this reference photo, all the background's been blurred out. So you can just get the sense of what's there. Now I'm going to blend those. Just soften the edges. Make me softening doodah a bit bigger. Just go around and soften those lighter green edges. And the scientific, or not the scientific, the artistic name for this effect is bokeh. It sort of just gives you the circles of softness and no specific detail in the background. It's just a softening effect. Having a quick look at my reference and getting everything. Do I need any more colours? I reckon maybe a yellow. We'll go with more of a yellow. Go back to my airbrush. Add a bit of a strong yellow. Like that. Maybe up in the top where the light's coming down. Keep the bright yellows up the top. Okay, I'm happy with that, and I'll blend it. Like that. Take it and just soften the edges. I'm just softening the yellows. I'm now going to go around and just sharpen up my berries because I've sort of lost a bit of the sharpness. So I'm going to colour pick the red, bright red. Go back to my dip pen, which is my sharp pointed pen. And I'm just going to go around the outside and just freshen up the outer edge of some of my berries. Because I went over them a little bit. Right. Okay, having another quick look. Get my white again, make my pen a bit smaller, make it a bit bigger, and just go around that outer edge, the highlighty bits. Just having a quick look anywhere I've missed any little highlights. I'm quite happy with that. It's looking all right. I'm going to add an airbrush white, drop the opacity, just make it a bit smaller. Just come around and add a soft highlight to the other parts of the berries that are a little bit light but not bright white. like that, and that gives them a little bit more three-dimensionality. Like that. All right, and I reckon I'm going to sign that and call it done. I reckon that's not bad. So that took an hour and 20 minutes, so yeah, not too bad at all for a quick morning sketch. I'm just going to sign it down here. I am going to call that done, and it's 2025 for another few weeks. So I'm going to call that done. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for hanging out. Guys and gals, you're a world of awesome. I'm just touching up a little bit of feathers, detail around the edges where I saw I missed. Just adding a little bit of dark feather texture into his wings up here. He's got just a few. There we go. Now he's done. So thank you for watching, everyone. Have an awesome day, and I will see you soon for another video. I'm not